Virtue signaling and social justice warriors in 2020. Virtue signaling is when someone takes an event or a cause, and instead of being a positive force in that cause, they just trying to give the perception of being a positive force. So this could be something like donating to a charity, but you take a camera crew there to film you donating the money to that charity so that you can post it on social media or show people, and that's the only time you ever donate to charity. You never did it in the past, will never do it again in the future unless there's a camera present. Now, the line is very thin here because you can use your platform for certain things to bring awareness. So a lot of these YouTubers, say someone blows up on YouTube and makes a bunch of money, and then they do like a giveaway, or their understanding of the fact that they're making a YouTube career, so they want to give back, and so they do a video like giving $100 to homeless people, and so then they film that and they go around and give $100 bills to homeless people. Now that's a very positive way to use your platform, recognize your position to do something to give back. So the line's very thin on what we're calling virtue signaling. Sometimes it's extremely obvious, and sometimes it's a little bit more open for debate. Now, with virtue signaling, you really got to understand someone's intentions behind it, and sometimes it's hard to tell their intentions behind it because you don't really know for sure. But the example I used of someone filming themselves giving to charity, sometimes there's an obvious indication when somebody is only doing it because they're being filmed. And then sometimes it's just, they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart, but sometimes they're just doing it because, hey, look at me, I'm giving to charity. Like me with my tie-dye job right now, I sell tie-dye for a nonprofit in San Diego. I'm at the beaches, I'm at the San Diego Zoo, I'm downtown, I'm in all the hot spots of San Diego, and I get homeless people all the time that walk up to my table and start conversations, and we just have a good time, whether it's for a couple minutes or whatever. I mean, I get tourists and everyone from all over the world, but I'm making this point about homeless people is because with this tie-dye job, my busiest season's in the summer, and I make most of my money in the summer, and then I save it and kind of spread it out throughout the year. I do some other things too with modeling and some other things on the side I do for money, but I'm not rich by any means. I'm not poor. I got my own place to live in, no roommates. I'm doing fine. I don't struggle with food. So if I'm doing fine, then I can give $1 or $2 to a homeless person if it comes up and the circumstance is such that I want to give $1. Sometimes though, maybe I'm doing really well. I had a good week or a good summer. What's up, Alex? And I just give $5 or $10. And then if I were to blow up on YouTube, for example, I might give $100. That it depends though. It's not for the sake of like, oh, like look at me, this is what I'm gonna do at a certain point, but being realistic, like if I can't afford my own rent, I'm not going to do anything for a homeless person. I'm gonna look out for myself first, take care of number one, because no one else is gonna do it for you. But as I'm growing in the world, I have to recognize my impact and what I can give back when I can give it back. So there's a difference between virtue signaling and just being understanding of your own circumstance and what to do with that circumstance to help other people when you can. And a lot of times in 2020, it's hard to see that because there's a lot of social justice warrior stuff and virtue signaling, especially with social media and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. A lot of times people kind of just want their voice to be heard, but they don't really want to go out and do anything for it. And they don't really want to do the work that's involved with that. How's it going?
Good.
I got adult sizes over here and kids on this side.
Okay. I'll check them out when I come back.
For sure. But so they don't want to do the work that's involved with it. They just want to show people, hey, look at the positive impact I'm making, or look at the moral stance I'm making. Another example I use with this is something like veganism. I've been making the transition as a vegan for a little bit now, and for me, just learning more about consciousness and health and the kind of diet I want, veganism makes sense to me, and just in modern times, not feeling like we need to just slaughter a bunch of animals or raise them for the purpose of our own food. So obviously, if I'm starving in the wild and I need to survive, I'm gonna hunt or fish or do whatever. But I just feel for myself in 2020, veganism makes a lot of sense in terms of just healthier living, plant-based diet, and also why not save a life of an animal. But when I'm talking to people, like to a meat eater, I grew up eating meat as a kid. You know, your family just puts it there and you just eat meat. So it's not like a moral. It's not like a moral judgment on people who eat meat. Sometimes you're talking to meat eaters about veganism, and they think you're virtue signaling by saying that you're like the moral high ground of, oh, I don't kill animals, or I'm taking the more moral stance. And with some of these people, I just got to explain, it's like, no, it's not like a moral stance on I'm better than you because I'm choosing to be vegan. I'm just saying, for what I've discovered about the world and in my path and where I'm at, I just feel that it's healthier, and why not save the life of an animal under the way that I'm viewing it. I'm not saying that like you're lesser because of that, you know. It's just, but some people, they take it the wrong way. But then there could be the vegan that's the virtue signaler, where it's like, if you do eat meat, then you're doing the less moral thing. And we can get into the morality of whatever. Everything's open to discussion. I don't believe in black and whites. It's all a gray area. Morality is really just a construct. It's really just a way that we come together as a community and decide what actions are good for society and what actions are bad for society. And we try to find common ground with that. But at the end of the day, morality and who's like a better person, who's noble, who isn't noble, who's worthy, who isn't worthy, who's right and who's wrong, it's a huge gray area. So that's when it comes to virtue signaling, a lot of people do take the stance of, look at how good I am, look at how much moral I am, as opposed to really looking at all angles, as opposed to actually being introspective, as opposed to really understanding the good and bad of themselves, the positive and the negative, and really looking at their circumstance. So a lot of people do just want to have that social justice warrior virtue signaling stuff as a, look at me, I'm doing the right thing.